Reading, reading, reading. It is no secret that reading comprehension is a struggle for my 11th grade students. Not only are their reading levels low to begin with, but they are also challenged by the diction of the British literature we read in class. So for several years now, I have been trying to find strategies that will help these struggling readers succeed. While researching these reading strategies, I discovered the highly acclaimed literature circles. Literature circles require students to work together to create an understanding of the literature through various roles. Roles include the illuminator, illustrator, word watcher, summarizer, and so on, and each role focuses on a different element of reading comprehension. After reading the assigned text, students convene in their circles to discuss and analyze the literature together, using the information gathered in their assigned roles as a guide. This process is similar to a jigsaw puzzle. Each person focuses on a separate type of knowledge, and then they come together in the end to construct the whole. Well, initially, it sounded scary, allowing the students to have discussions led by themselves, without me. As scared as I was, I realized that I had to try it. I had to try something. The research and testimonials from other English teachers convinced me that this was a worthy strategy, so I began to create the necessary framework to put it into place. Now initially, I recognized literature circles as extreme cooperative learning, but I also have learned that the social dependency of the groups can be defined as social constructivism. Of course, the circle discussion itself is a socially constructed opportunity and requires students to interact to create knowledgeable conversations. The knowledge then created by the students is completely constructed by the circle members participating equally and contributing to the conversation. If one member shirks the responsibility, the whole group will suffer, so all members learn the value of the knowledge they are contributing. To teach lit circles, I introduced one lit circle part a day. On one side was an example taken from the text we had read in class, and the other side was blank. After examining the example, I directed the class through a short reading and identified the areas relevant to the role. At first, I would have to point out the information, such as an important vocabulary word, and instruct them how to record and analyze it. But the students caught on quickly, and before the end of a 10-minute reading, the students were easily completing their assigned role. After completing this process with each of the 5 roles, I let go of a bit of my responsibility, and I had the students attempt the roles on their own. Giving each student a different role, we read the short story, The Lottery, together. As they read the story, the students were responsible for completing their lit circle role. The next day I had the circles meet with their peers who had the same role as they did, and they compared notes. Then we had the lit circle discussion as a class, so I could model the appropriate way to hold a discussion, to record information, and to present your role to the rest of your group. This step allowed for students to stop and ask questions about the process before they had to actually complete it without me facilitating the discussion. The discussion that day went much better than I had hoped, so I knew it was time to let them attempt it on their own. After grouping students in groups of 5, I assigned Chapter 9 of Lord of the Flies. Each group member was responsible for reading the chapter and completing a different lit circle role. The next day, they met in their groups for their first literature circle discussion. I walked around during the discussions and monitored them, guiding students and answering questions. I was astounded by the depth of their conversations. There were very few questions that I had to answer, which I attribute to the modeling and practice we did together. As the unit continued, I witnessed increasing comprehension when I monitored their discussions, as well as their summative assessments. The social constructivist approach to literature circles drastically improved the reading comprehension of the students. By letting the students assume more and more of the thinking load, they were able to accomplish the task on their own and learn how to read for comprehension.